It is just plain and simple, eat the way nature intended and how it's given to us. Every single plant-based food comes in perfect balance within itself.
I feel like, now I'm back, like I feel like, yeah, like I remember this is how I actually prefer to eat. It's not like, oh, I'm pushing myself every meal, like, come on, stay strong, you can eat raw, you can do it. How long were you given to live?
6 months. Well, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
Good to see
help
everyone again.
Yep, see each other. Raw food, raw life. Wow. What are we going to go for first?
Whatever you like.
Fruit salad.
Well, there's one of these each.
Yeah.
We've got to have the little...
Imagine everybody ate like this, eh? Everybody ate breakfast like this.
Yeah.
Wouldn't everybody be so happy?
Yeah, instead of the pig flesh and the chicken sensuations. We don't want that.
But what about the hospitals? They have nothing to do. That'll all be empty.
That's right.
That's exactly
That's
right.
a concept.
Yeah.
I can put it
So you two have been like raw for like how many years now?
22?
22 years. Amazing. And that's it, hey, you're not going back.
Well, why would you stop doing something that works?
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Really.
Does it? But a lot of people do it, including myself. Went back a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's moments, there's times, there's even circumstances that might require you to eat something that is cooked, other than, oh, look at that little bee. Which is not going to kill you so long as it's
there is
it's
like
vegan. Like
varying
vegan's the main thing.
that's right.
It's got to be no animal products whatsoever, no harm done.
And we were hiking once in Spain, and at the end of the day, we made a booking, and they said, what do you want to eat for your dinner? We said, just make a salad. And, okay. At the end of the day, there was some cooked stuff on the salad. Now, there's a bit of cold potato, sweet potato, pumpkin, some of it. And they've gone to so much trouble. It would have been really rude if we just said no.
Yeah.
So we just ate it, and you don't.
Yeah. It didn't kill you, did it?
It
Well,
wasn't
no,
and it doesn't happen very often.
But if it had been a meat product, well, it would have been a no.
Yeah, of course.
Like, well, then you stand up for your integrity, etc. But we basically went raw for health reasons. With my cancer diagnosis, it was like, okay, I've got to do 100% the best I possibly can to give the body what it needs to, reverse the situation and rejuvenate. So,
and what year was that you were diagnosed?
2001.
2001. Yeah. And
so basically,
how long were you given to live?
6 months. Very nice of them to give me that.
We're like God over you. So We will decide how long you have left.
Basically, I mean,
well,
my instant reaction was, that first of all didn't make sense, but secondly, I can remember, to be honest, when I was little, we all, everybody went to Sunday school on Sundays. You went to church. The kids went to Sunday school, and it didn't really matter whether you wanted to or not. But never once was I ever told that God wore a white coat. And there was this person in a white coat telling me I had 6 months to live. I was like,
how dare you? And you basically said, screw them. I'm going to take my health into my own hands.
Absolutely. You've got to. I mean, it's not just taking control of your own health. It is taking responsibility for your own health and your own actions and thoughts and everything else. I mean, if we start taking responsibility, which is making conscious lifestyle choices, every choice you make, life is just full of choices. And if you consciously make the choice, then you're going to consciously realize what the result is going to be, and you're going to be happy with that. So it's not that
just
hard.
Diet. It's a
it's a lifestyle. It's everything, But it's all connected, especially a vegan diet and a raw vegan diet is definitely connected to every single thing that is happening on this planet right now.
I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and not only did you overcome this diagnosis of death, you ran around Australia a marathon every single day for 1 year.
And a day. A year and a day.
A year and a day. Okay, sorry, I missed that one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, don't forget that extra day.
Yeah, that's
now.
important. So that's incredible. And you did it on 100% raw food. Yep. Raw vegan.
Yep.
Raising awareness for the message. And
Exactly. Just showing by example what's possible.
Because the main part of our diet really was juicy fruits. You know, pineapples, bananas, oranges. Those are juicy fruits. And just a few veggies here and there.
Excellent. And it worked. You did it.
It was, yeah.
And you fell over and you had crazy experiences. And you actually got a documentary about it.
Yeah, watch the film.
Yep.
Raw the documentary, it's called.
Raw the documentary.
Yeah, so not raw. If you're looking for it, don't look for just raw, because that's a film about carnivores.
Okay. Yeah.
So, you know, there was a reason why we called it Raw, the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And you were in your 60s when you did it?
I was 64, Alan was 68.
Yeah.
Now I'm 75.
Yeah, 75.
And you're 71.
Amazing.
Getting younger every day.
And just hanging out with you has been so amazing. I was saying to Robin how like just how lucid and like youthful you are to be around. You're like, 20-year-olds. Yeah, seriously.
Better 20-year-old now than I was when I was 20.
Yeah, that's me too actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you make those changes and choices, it just gets better. The more, lifestyle choices that you make, conscious ones, the better everything gets. And it gets easier.
Yeah, and growing your own food.
Growing your own food,
Yeah, you're living in this amazing, amongst amazing food forest and wallabies and,
Well, being in nature and being in tune with nature and in harmony with nature, that's the key to everything. Yeah.
So growing your own food is so important.
Absolutely.
Obviously, like
Absolutely.
going to the supermarket all the time to get your food.
There's really nothing in a supermarket.
But if we do ever have to go to a supermarket for some reason, you only go to the fruit department. So all those other aisles, I don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in there.
It's box life. It's just box life.
Or anything in a, that's in a can, a jar, a box, anything like that's been processed, and therefore it's denatured, and therefore it's not food.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you need the live stuff.
yeah, exactly. Well, if you eat dead things, you're gonna be dead.
Feel like
If you eat live things, you're going to be living, and I think that's the key too. Is people spend the majority of their life, or their adult life, dying. Maybe the last 40 or 50 years of their life is actually dying.
That's the thing, people
When
might
you
be
should be
living
living.
longer, but what's the quality of life?
Exactly, they're not
Like,
actually
They've
living.
just been kept alive,
Yeah.
by a
Longer
big
than
pharma, and I don't know.
Back in the day.
Yeah, there's meant to be living longer. I don't know.
It's just absence of trauma.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And stress.
most people are ending up in nursing homes. Often by your age as well. They're in nursing
Oh
homes.
yeah, as soon as you hit 60, it's like, okay, it's time to
put
move
you
you
away.
somewhere. Yeah, put you away.
Well, they're advertising down the road, 50 years. You can be 50 years old.
Yeah, 50 over. 50 and over, you can move into a seniors
I'm going in there soon.
Let's go, guys.
They're gonna be
Well,
knocking on
actually,
my
I
door
was
soon.
thinking the other day that it would be absolutely brilliant if a whole bunch of us actually moved on in.
Yeah.
And,
Helped everybody.
yeah, and sort of maybe change the food they were eating and everything else. And,
Oh, I know. We should do that.
yeah, I think it'd be kind of fun.
I was thinking about your trip, and what would you say was the most crazy experience? Something that is just like the most challenging, I guess, where you felt like, this might be it. I don't know if I can keep going, or you didn't have those feelings.
Well, it's kind of a combination of those kind of feelings, except like never once did we think we should stop. But several times we thought we may not be able to continue, which is a different thing.
Snake bite. Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah, snakebite was kind of interesting, especially the fact that it was only 2 weeks to the finish. It's like that wasn't very good timing, but I think it was the weather. Like every single day we had different climate, different terrain conditions. It was different every single day. But when we were coming up the east coast, we had cyclones, bushfires, all kinds of stuff like that. But going down the west coast, which we thought would be just fine, that was probably the worst. we actually got hypothermic grilling down there because we were hit with a storm. We had 80-kilometre-hour winds running into and horizontal sleet, ice rain. This is in Australia. It was just ridiculous. We could only see about a metre in front of our feet. And the road itself had such a camber on it that the vehicles couldn't stop, like our support crew couldn't stop to help us or give us anything or take anything. Our phones stopped working because they got soaking wet, and we were just literally putting one foot in front of the other, one step in front of the other, and it was all we could do to just keep doing it until finally we could see our vehicle up ahead. And when we got in there, we couldn't speak. We couldn't.
We were so frozen in our fingers, we couldn't undo various
couldn't get
zips. So the crew had to sort of
they had
heal
to
our clothes up.
undress us and get. Well, we were definitely hypothermic, but they, of course, knew what the situation was. They had smoothies and juice and fruit. They had so much stuff there ready, and we just inhaled it. We just kept on, it was until it was all gone. And within about 20 minutes, we had our clothes and shoes back on, and we were back out there.
That's amazing.
So
recovery
was, but we wouldn't have recovered otherwise. I mean, if we'd been taken off to the hospital or something, which
most people
maybe
wouldn't.
most people would have, we were definitely hypothermic.
There was one incident I thought was really worse. We were down in Tasmania, and we only had about 10 days to go. And Janette went into the bushes for some reason, and she's in there for a while. And she came out and she looked really, had a look on her face like shock. And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I've just been bitten by a snake." And I said, "Well, that's nice. What are we going to do?"
Right.
I said, "What did it look like?" She said, "It was sort of brown and long." I thought, okay. So
brown snake.
So we had a choice. I mean, we could either call an ambulance, and that would have mucked up the whole day. I mean, we only done about 20k halfway there. If we called an ambulance, they would have taken her off somewhere.
And then maybe days.
So we thought, let's just wait and see, Just wait and see.
Which is not what you do when you get a snake bite. Just
wait.
to make that quite clear. It's not
Except
what
if
you
you're
do.
Janette, you do.
You should.
So anyway, we
Stay
thought,
very still.
We can't sit here all day. We'll just go for a bit of a walk and see. So we went for a walk and it seemed okay. And we knew that the caravan was down the road, probably about an hour away. So we broke into a slow jog and everything was okay. But I think luckily, if anything can be lucky about a snake bite, it bit her right through her shoe. So on the top of the shoe, which is very thin, you could see this sort of like a white stone.
The serum.
Something. And then when she took her shoe off, you could see two little pinpricks.
That may have been the difference.
They're still there on my foot.
So most of the venom probably stayed on the shoe. And Janette didn't feel too good for a couple of days. But
it's a bit slow.
Could have killed you. Really?
But it
was a brown
it wasn't its plan.
It was just maybe warning you.
Well, I must have stood on it, I guess. It was just as well it was my foot.
I'm surprised not more of those situations happen. In a whole year of running around like outback areas.
Oh, there were. We just haven't told you.
I bet you could fill up a whole 24 hours.
I could have written a book and made a film that was completely different.
I remember when you came into Adelaide, and you were both so tiny. So tiny.
Yeah, we were disappearing fast.
Like understandably, like it must have been difficult to
I
keep.
didn't realise that, but I suppose you would notice. For us, it was just happening day by day.
Yourselves, I really noticed that. I was like, oh, look, they're amazing. Yeah, still performing.
Well, we were actually getting.
If you can perform, it doesn't matter. Like if you're skinny.
Well, I'll tell you, the last 10 marathons, the last 10 days, were much easier than the first 10 days.
Oh, definitely.
How about that?
More conditioned?
We were trained up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also I think the body got used to it. Like in the beginning when we were coming up the East Coast, it was just the beginning, of the whole thing. Even though we'd been training for a year and we'd run a marathon a week for a year, and like we were basically running about 200k a week. We still hadn't done a marathon each day. So, for the first 10 days, I guess, it was pretty difficult. Plus the fact that we took off from Melbourne, and for the first, at least 2 days we were on concrete, getting out of Melbourne.
Just straight on concrete.
Flat, hard concrete. So that was pretty mean.
And then we had film crews, you know,
Yeah.
and they'd say, "Oh, can you just come back and just do that again?"
Yeah.
You know,
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It took about how many takes we had.
the
To,
light wasn't quite right. Can you just come back and?
yeah. This was the media.
And you just have to do it for them.
Yeah,
you want to get on
We
there.
had to do it.
You want to get on there.
So some of the days, instead of it taking us 5 hours to run a marathon, you know, we could have been, some of them we were out there for about 10 hours, but overall, you know, by the time we'd start and done interviews, and so it wasn't like a normal running a marathon thing.
It's much easier just to run 5 hours and then take the rest of the day off.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Than run these bits and pieces.
For sure. It was just,
I mean, one night
completely different.
something went wrong. We had a new crew and we had to help them do the shopping. It's a huge shop, like it's $1,000 shop, you know.
Okay.
And that stuff all had to be put in certain places. So the day dragged out of it. And to cut a long story short, it was 10 o'clock at night. We were still running, pitch black. And
Couldn't find the vehicles.
we could not find the vehicle. And we knew by our watches that it should be just here. But sometimes they can't always stop. They go a bit further on.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's
So we kept
So we
going,
went
kept
through
going.
the-
Over about another 4K. Well, that might not sound much.
Oh, that would
But
have
when you
made me
think
angry.
you're there,
Yeah.
and you've got to run another
I would have been
4K.
pissed actually.
And then you don't know if you've got to run that far. And then they were parked off the road and behind, you know, it was sort of like a lot of the places out back are, there's just nothing there, and then there'll be a little area that has, like, it's for doing road maintenance, and so they'll have like a big pile of rocks and stuff like that there, and so they would park in behind it, so you actually couldn't see it, not for that purpose, but you know, we'd run right on by,
Oh gosh.
and it was dark, and they'd gone to bed,
Oh no.
and so there wasn't really any
I would have
lights
waited
happening.
until
No, dinner was on the table.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so you know, we had circumstances like that were kind of interesting.
And you had that like Nullarbor Plains like
Wow.
27 days.
27 days.
So in 27 days you only
Yeah.
saw 6 petrol stations?
Yep.
Is that it? Was there anyone living out there?
No,
Like, what
that's
is it?
all you see.
What about the workers? Do they live behind the like petrol
No,
station?
they just commute
workers?
Like in the petrol station?
from one
Oh, yeah.
roadhouse to
They
the
live
other.
in there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was wondering how many residents there are out there.
No, there's no. Well, except when you get to Nullarbor itself, which is a little town. It's got maybe 6 or 7 houses in it, and a large building which we couldn't figure out what it was. I think it might have been like a station at one point in time.
Freemasons.
Oh my god, no. But yeah, I think, you know, it was probably a cattle station or something at one time, but it was long gone. But yeah, so there's sort of nothing there. But you go right across, you know, where we were running, because we were running a marathon a day. It took us 27 days. And normally, you know, if we were driving, maybe 3 or 4 days. I don't know. But it's one of the longest roads, straight roads
Just
in the
straight
world.
thing.
Like, it just keeps going, and it's got this one corner. And when we came to this corner, to be honest, we were into about the 24th day, and we were like, what are we going to do? Like, what do we do with this corner? Like,
You just didn't know how to
stopped and we're
navigate
like,
the corner. You're like,
what do we do with this? You know, and not only that, but this corner was. We've even got photos of us with it behind us. You know, like selfies, where the road behind us is coming straight, and then it's an absolute corner like that. It's not even
like
just
a right
round,
angle, like
it's
a
a
right-
total right angle,
Wow.
and it goes straight up a hill. And of course, the whole Nullarbor is just plain. It's like flat. And then
That's
all of a
bizarre.
sudden it goes up the hill. Well, why didn't it just keep going straight? I have no idea. It was
Well,
bizarre.
the coast was looming up.
The coast was leading up.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, so it was
Odd situations like
interesting, but yeah, and we had to stock up before we went across there, because obviously we're not going to be able to get anything in any of those petrol stations.
Yep.
So yeah, so we stocked up and tons of food and everything, but we thought we'd make it for 27 days, but we didn't. We ran out of food at 24 days.
Wow.
So
And then you had to like what?
keep going.
Just run on empty, pretty much.
No.
No, because
Oh, you had the raisins. So you told me.
Yeah.
We had 3 things. We had chia seeds,
Yeah.
almonds, and sultanas.
Yeah.
And with that, the almonds we could make milk.
yeah,
So we made
and use the
almond
pulp.
milk to put on the chia seeds. And bananas, we just sliced up and add that together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's
So it
pretty
was
tasty.
3
Not bad, but not enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was 3 cheers a day.
3 cheers a day.
That's what we had. And that kept us going. And, you know, like some of the most enduring runners of the world run on chia seeds. So that's why they were there. They were just like this little emergency pack. Those we'd well and truly run out of dates or anything like that. So there they were, and that's what we ran on for that short time, because there is nothing at those petrol stations.
Oh, yeah.
I've
heard about them.
meat
This
pie.
is white bread meat pie.
Yeah.
That's what you get.
Yeah. And there's nothing else out there, like, seriously.
It's literally a desert, huh? It's just, you run through the desert, basically.
Except when you're running, you do see a lot more than if you were driving. So, you know, we did see things that we wouldn't have otherwise noticed.
Geckos.
And,
like you said.
And wildflowers growing.
Oh, it's amazing, the wildflowers,
Oh, and you had a blood test at the end of it, right, Alan?
Yep.
And the doctor basically said you're the healthiest 75-year-old. Oh, sorry, at your time you were
That's another story, but yeah. We did have blood tests at the end.
Yeah.
And everything was fine. Our B12 was down a bit.
Yeah, because you don't supplement at all.
Yeah.
No.
So that obviously...
Yeah. But we did go back a month later.
And it came up a bit.
Our B12 was, everything was right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
We stopped eating an avocado a day.
It made a big difference. Yeah.
Yeah, just drop the fat content back down.
And what would you say to people who want to try a raw vegan diet, raw food diet, and they're just like, oh, it's too hard, you know, like I just can't do it, you know, it requires so much discipline. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm not sure how much discipline it took to do this, but seriously, the first thing to do is make sure you're in an area where you can either grow as much of your food as possible or it's accessible to you. The reason why we live where we live. And there's plenty of places in this world where you can, I mean, anywhere you live you can grow some.
You can grow
exactly. So,
I mean, this piece of pineapple was grown by Freelee, and it's the sweetest thing that you can taste. I mean, it's just so sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's standard, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
But when you get them from the store, it's just, and that's why I think a lot of people were like, well, you know, fruit tastes crap, you know, because they go to
because they have the wrong stuff.
That's why it's
just
important
go to markets, go to, you know, local people if you're not growing enough yourself. But also, it's not difficult. It really isn't difficult. All you need is a knife. That's it, really. You know,
the right
you can
mentality.
Cut it and eat it.
Knife and cutting board, and that's
not even. But I think a lot of people think of it as being complicated because they're relating it to how their own lifestyle is, which is very complicated in most cases. And, you know, especially if they're having cooked food, that's really complicated. Like, first of all, you got to, you know, prepare all the food into something, and then
like the burns and stuff like that.
and then you've got to cook it and wait while it cooks before you have to eat it, and then you have to wait while it cools down. So why not just stop that whole process there? Just prepare it and eat it.
Yep.
You don't have to wait all that time and then have to wait while it cools down, because you can't eat it hot anyway. And even if you did, not only are you getting no nutrients, but you're getting burnt at the same time. So it's totally ridiculous. But anyway,
more convenient, you know.
It's convenient. Convenience foods, people do that. But you know, how convenient is it to be healthy?
To be unhealthy too.
Or either way. It's just like it's not. It's
stuck in a hospital.
Yeah, it really isn't rocket science. It is just plain and simple. Eat the way nature intended, and how it's given to us. Every single plant-based food comes in perfect balance within itself. Yeah. So you could just eat oranges, or just watermelon, or just persimmons, you know, or 30 bananas.
30 bananas a day. Every day for the rest of your life.
and what you're eating is in perfect balance within itself. So if that you're eating is, you know, is in perfect balance, and you add other fruits and vegetables in perfect balance, then you have the balanced diet. That is a balanced diet.
That's a truly balanced diet.
Exactly.
People like to throw that term around a lot. Oh, you need a balanced diet. It must have the protein, the meats, you know, the dairy, for your bones. There's so much rubbish. You know.
Well, there's way too much analysing going on. It's all there in nature, and just pass over.
You're going to
just have
try one of these.
Yeah, I've been
so
looking forward to this. So
if you're a good raw foodie,
this one looks like...
if you have a little freezer, then you can buy food cheap when it's in season.
Ooh.
And these personally were cheap, and we couldn't eat them all, even though we were eating them all day long. So we put some in the freezer, and now we can have them. They're nice, huh?
It's delicious. Like, who doesn't want to have sugar at every meal? You know, the sweet stuff. You know, people want to eat sweet stuff. We want to eat it because we're frugivores.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, like, when people say about the discipline, I'm like, you know, obviously I went back from eating raw, but I feel like now I'm back, like I feel like, yeah, like I remember this is how I actually prefer to eat. It's not like, oh, I'm pushing myself every meal, like, come on, stay strong, you can eat raw, you can do it.
Yeah, I think I have a good point is, say you're a smoker, and I used to be a smoker, and you want to give it up. You've got to have a lot of discipline to give up smoking, right? But you've only got to have that for a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks or a month.
Over the hump.
And then it's gone, and now you have no desire anymore. So it's the same if you have to give up what you think is, you know, standard Australian diet.
Yeah.
It only takes a month, and all that's gone. It's, you know, then you just
And your taste buds change after a couple of weeks. You apparently get a new set, which is going to help.
Well, there's a not really. So there's a combination. There's two things. There's addiction, and habit. So people, you know, habitually eat certain things or do certain things in their life, and if they stop doing those, that habit just like keeps on coming back. You know, like the reaching for the cigarette or the reaching for the glass of whatever, and for whatever reason, it's a habit that is formed. So if you can, instead of reaching for the glass of, you know, the can of Coke, have a glass of smoothie or juice there instead. It's not what's in there that's the problem. It's the habit. So once that habit is gone in 3 weeks if you stop doing it. So to stop doing it, it's not difficult. You just change the habit to something better.
Yeah, replace it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then the same with, you know, if you usually grab a bag of chips or something, well, just grab a banana, grab something else that's just as easy to, you know, like banana comes in its own little package. Not only that, but the package is good for the compost. Whereas you can't put a package from your chips in the compost.
That's right.
You put it in, ends up in the landfill.
We were
So, you know,
talking
you have to think about that.
About the protection of
Exactly.
how, like, it hasn't touched the air, you know, it hasn't started to oxidize or anything.
That's
you know,
right.
the banana is, I mean, every fruit has its perfect, you know, encasement. Like,
Exactly.
and all the food you're basically buying in the supermarket, you know, you can have like flour that's 5 years old in these products. And
Oh yeah.
rancid.
And it's already been, you know, processed to death anyway. But the other part of it is the addiction. So, you know, the body becomes addicted to certain chemically based things, and the chemical can be a chemical reaction that the body creates itself to deal with the food that people are eating. So processed food, junk food, animal products is all foreign to the body. And so it has to create, it does create a chemical reaction to dispose of it in some form or another, some of which doesn't even leave the body. But the most important thing, I think, for people to understand, if they want to do something for themselves and for the planet, then by going raw vegan, that's the absolute best thing you can possibly do. It's not difficult.
for the animals
It's
as
very
well.
easy.
Yep.
And the easiest way to actually make it worthwhile to you, so many people have all these excuses as to why it's too difficult, or, you know, this, the other, come up with all these different reasons.
Yeah.
Most important thing is to place the highest value on yourself. If you value yourself more than anything else or anyone else, especially this is for women. Most women, they take on the caretaker role, they caretake their children, they caretake their husbands, they caretake their partners, they caretake their parents, they caretake the pets.
That's a good point, yeah.
Who's caretaking them? And if you can't take care of yourself or place that high value on yourself, then how are you going to place a high value on anything else?
That's right.
You
How are
know?
you going to look after the animals? How are you going to look after
Exactly.
the planet, your family?
Exactly. So, you know, once you realize that you're actually worth it, then you give yourself 100% the best you can in everything, not just the food, but every choice you make. And if you're making 100% the best choice you can possibly make at the time, that's 100% response you're going to get, and 100% the best you can do.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Very good advice. Yeah. I mean, like, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, and then you get the results. The results follow you.
Yeah.
It all falls into place.
So many people are looking for this diet, that diet, this,
Yeah.
you know, all these things.
value yourself.
Value yourself
Enough to
first,
nourish
and it'll
yourself
become
properly.
obvious
Yeah.
that you wouldn't want to do that, or you wouldn't want to eat that, or you wouldn't want to speak like that, or you wouldn't, everything we do.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. That's like a motivational speech in itself, really. People need to hear that, especially women. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us here. It's been great. Yeah, we love it.
It's great to have
Thanks
you.
for coming.
Yeah, I'm so happy to come here. Really am.
Yeah, it's so good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you for this.
Now I have a person in.